All right, let's have a look at the markets. It's been an interesting week. Actually, one second. All right, so it's been an interesting week. Very, very interesting. Let's go to the daily. Interesting in that this is just dropped even further down than what I anticipated. Because I was thinking, okay, we'll have a pullback before a drop down. But no, we've had a drop down. So now I'm looking at this as in where is the next level, i.e. where this could potentially go to. And the next level, well, the current level is here, which is more or less where price is, and the next level is here. And there is I believe there's a gap right about there. Can't see it on this time frame, but on the lower time frame you could probably see it clearer. So this level I think is very unlikely to hold. So I think prices can very easily come down to here before it settles down and then makes an attempt back up. Let's quickly have a look at other markets. I don't think this is ready. I don't think this is quite ready to go down even further. I don't think so because other markets aren't quite ready yet. I say that, and there is this. Let me go into one time frame higher, just so we can have a broader look. Because you can look at this as all one push up, or one push up, second push up, third push up, and then we have a V. Either case, let's go with this second case and say, excuse me, let's go with this second case and say this is the story so far. If that is the V, it's going to be at least one more push up, right? To confirm that the buyers are not able to go down here, and to confirm that the sellers really are here to take this all the way down to here, which is their ultimate goal if they are here. That's on this market. Let's quickly have a look. Same thing with this market, right? With Germany, we have a push up and then a push up. If we're going to have a push down to around about here, we're going to have one more push up. Now the question is this move the push down that will come all the way to down here? That's what I'm wondering, I should say. Wall Street. Push up. Interesting. Interesting, because we've had push up and then another push up. So we have a low, higher low. Let me clear this up a bit. And high, lower high. And where is this coming down? To here. I'm not quite sure it has the strength to come all the way down to here right now. So I believe this will fade out and then make another attempt upwards to try to beat or reach this high. That's what I'm seeing on this market. Whereas this market, it hasn't even, that move down hasn't begun yet. So if we're looking at Wall Street and saying Wall Street is leading things, for the move to come all the way down here, we kind of need all markets to be more aligned. And right now, what I'm seeing is what I'm saying is Wall Street is very far along, but these two markets are not quite there yet, not quite ready. And in order for things to drop down to this level, you kind of need for markets to roll over. Let's see if they've done so on Wall Street. They really haven't. In Wall Street, what we have is a push up and then a push down, unless this coming down from a bigger, from a higher time frame point of view, is this story: push up and then all the way down before another push up can happen, which in theory will be this bending, i.e. rolling over. Either way, I don't think we're quite ready to come all the way down to here just yet. Although it looks as though Wall Street will be the first to go down. Okay, so let's go back to the lower time frame and what I'm seeing on here. Let's take it from this market, and let's take it from here. Actually, before we get into this, let me do this. So the gap in Wall Street, what I mentioned earlier, is around about here-ish, right? So if this is going to come down all the way to, let's call it the 14,600 level, right? If price is going to come all the way down to here, we have this move upwards, then this, and then this, and now we have this. So let me see how I can read this. When this made a move upwards, it really didn't do much. And this range tells me that although we can read all of these details, there's really no point at this point. Because the bigger story is prices came up to here and really didn't do much, ranged instead. So this guy who pushed it upwards held this level for a while until he then pushed upwards again from here, and sellers came crashing down. So at this level, let me clear this up. At this level, once again, I want to see what sellers do. Sorry, what buyers do. Whether they take it up one more time, or whether sellers crash this level and this level. Now, the way I'm looking at this is the last guy who pushed upwards is this guy, and the guy before that is this guy. Same guy, but it just pushed upwards at a higher level. So the sellers have to first break this barrier and then this barrier before potentially reaching all the way down to here. Now, if we're comparing this guy, the last guy who pushed upwards, versus these guys here, specifically this last person who pushed downwards, who is stronger? It's still the buyers, right? They're still stronger. At this point, they're still stronger. Because we don't yet know where these guys are going to end, whether they end here or lower. But right now, the story, looking at the story, the buyers are still in control and still have strength. And with this candle being a green candle, this one right here, it's very likely that they're going to react one more time and at the very least try to take it up to this level again. So it wouldn't surprise me if prices came down and then moved upwards potentially either ranging interesting, potentially ranging. And if they are potentially going to range, then really and truly this level hasn't been broken. And although this guy pushed up from a higher low, in theory you can say this guy was the last guy with strength, because he's the one who took it higher, to this high point, and ever since then nothing has been able to happen. He's attempted again, let me clear this up. He's attempted again at a higher low, so he took it upwards. Ever since then, nothing. These spikes, yes, they're technically higher highs, but nothing happened at those levels because they just came right back down, right? So I'm considering them, but not considering them. As in, they matter, but in this context, they're not that important. What's important is this guy was the last guy with true strength. Took it upwards, and so far hasn't been able to beat this level. Prices have come, so prices came down, 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 and down. And the last attempt here, he tried to go upwards, but still this level hasn't been beaten. So whilst you can say this guy started here, took it upwards to here, he's the last person who pushed upwards and made a higher high. He attempted again here, but didn't make a higher high, right? Wasn't able to break this level. What I want to see now is what happens when prices come down to him again, because I think he's going to react from here again and take it upwards. But is he going to break this level? If he is not, that means he doesn't have the strength anymore. And if that is the case, when the sellers do come down, if they don't break this level when they're coming down, when the market's open, when they make their second move, they surely will break this level, and most likely break this level, because that's where the true strength of the buyer is. So if he is spending all of this time, let me clear this up from here, look at all this time, right, that's been spent more or less in this range, which is a big range, by the way, and making higher lows. Let's say potentially this starts from just slightly higher than this level. I don't think it's going to continue to do this for very long. I think instead the sellers are just going to hit it probably from here after he makes his final attempt upwards, because we now know that they are here, right? But we don't yet know if the buyers are done. Potentially they are. Like I said, it depends on how this story ends. It hasn't ended so far. It's just paused because of the weekend break. So, and even right now, so it's this guy who started this push upwards versus this last guy who started the push downwards. He did it in 2 candles. But he did so with more strength than this guy, than the second guy. So right now, the sellers are here, but the buyers haven't given up, and the buyers are still in control. So let's theorize here. We have this V, let's say, which will mean this guy with strength, although I'm considering it now, and I did consider it before, because he wasn't able to break this level, is not the real guy with strength. It's this guy with strength. I'm seeing it now as I'm going through this. Fascinating. Really, really fascinating. In fact, let me clear this and go back a bit more. It's interesting how, see, this is what I mean by a rollover, because we have all of this big push up, and ever since, yes, prices have broken this level, so this guy pushed upwards, but in a very weak manner. And again, he attempted to do so here, and was stronger or as strong as this move here, but wasn't able to break this level, which means what we're seeing is a rollover in progress. So we're having this happening. And this potentially is the first sign that the sellers are here. And this level, this guy and this guy, if the sellers are here and the buyers are not as strong, and I don't think they're strong, when the sellers come down again, they'll easily break this level if they truly are strong, which will mean they'll then be able to come all the way down to here, the 14,600 level I mentioned earlier. Let's have a look at Wall Street, because I think that might have been what happened on Wall Street. See, this is so messy. So looking at this daily, you might be tempted to track all of this, and that wouldn't be wrong, but now it's about perspective, right? And this is not very easy to track. So let's say all of this. So this guy, where did he end? He continues to make higher highs, higher lows. We'll see, we have a rollover here as well, but this one is hard to track. We have a rollover, right? But this is hard to track because prices rolled over, but pretty much just dropped, and then dropped even stronger. So let's look at this from here. We have all of this, right? And then the sellers came in, and that pretty much marks the sellers coming in with strength. Let's track the buyers. Buyers pushed up, 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 up. Attempted one more time here, and they were crushed by the sellers, right? So that is your V. Okay. Sellers came down, and buyers attempted once again to reach this level. but haven't been able to. The sellers, on the other hand, pushed down, but wasn't even able to make this low. And then they eventually did with this push down. But look how much time went by before they took it down. And then they came down with even more strength. So is it the sellers are here, or the buyers are slowly taking away their money? Because if the buyers are still in control, when they get to a level that they're happy with, a price that they're happy with, then they're very likely to push up with strength. So yes, the sellers are here, but the buyers are not dead yet. And on this market, I'm not sure who is in control. Just by looking at this, it's too messy. It's not as clean cut as Germany. Now let's quickly have a look at, okay, so now this is more clean cut, right? Because you can see the moves. Buyers pushed upwards, 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 upwards. Okay. So from here, you can read this as one move up or two moves up. Either way, right? The sellers came down, and this is an SNR area. Buyers made another attempt. Let me do that better. Another attempt. Sellers came down, buyers pushed up again to them, and then it just dropped. Not much of a rollover on this market. It's just dropped, which means, although this is an area of interest, we have this is an SNR area. From a higher time frame point of view, we're looking at these guys down here versus this guy. And who is stronger? This guy. So this SNR is important, and this guy who started it here is less important. These guys who started it, because we have this. It's bigger, it's wider. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, see, so it's this guy versus this guy. And we have this. And if that is our move, then we need at least one more push up to this guy or this SNR level. Let's go into the details. So if I were looking at this saying, okay, also remember, we don't yet know this is over. This move is over. In theory, I think it's very likely it is over, but we don't yet know. So when markets open, the next level down is here with the SNR and this guy who started it. So we're looking at 7,500, between 7,400 and 7,500. In theory, these guys can come down even more, right? To either this SNR or down to the 7,400 where the guy started it. And if that is the case, then it wouldn't be this guy versus this guy. It would be this guy versus this guy. In other words, we'll have to analyze this move down versus how this came up. And so far, this move down seems to be coming down stronger than these guys who went up, because they went up in stages, right? They went up and then fought down up here before losing. So on this time frame, not 3 hours, 4 hours. So yes, I think buyers are going to make another attempt upwards across all markets. I think upwards, probably this week, this coming week. But I am not sure how much strength they have. It will depend on how they come up. Again, this is all assuming this ends this week. If it doesn't and continues to go down, I'll need to reassess. But so far, let's assume this is where it ends this week, right? We'll need all of this to be absorbed again. So we'll have a pullback. And based on the pullback, it will either aim to take out this guy, i.e. continue to go upwards, or drop one more time before the buyers make another attempt on this market. In Germany is probably the best one for me so far, because it's the one that's getting ready the most to drop. It's also lagging behind the other two. So I think when buyers come up on this market, they're likely to come up with more strength when this finishes. See, now on this market, I'm less confident that these guys are done, because they haven't even reached this low, unless we're going to see higher lows potentially. But I think when markets open, this will finish its move, most likely down here. And then we're going to see buyers make another attempt upwards. That's what I think for this market. For FTSE, I think we're going to see buyers come in. I think probably weaker than in Germany. I think they'll come in more or less like this, whereas Germany will come in stronger, because they're still very strong. This guy is still very strong, and in fact is waiting for sellers to come down to get a good price before he buys once more. So buyers on here are still strong. Other markets, they're weak. Wall Street. Yeah, you see, Wall Street is just begging to reach this level. It could end around about where it is now. Yeah, it very well could do so, but I doubt it. I think it's going to go past and then reach this level to end, to complete its move. And then we can assess how the buyers are going to react. Right now, this doesn't look good to me at all. Wall Street, that is, it doesn't look good to me at all. It's very messy. I think FTSE is good. FTSE is very clear cut, because we know the sellers have come in and it's now time for the buyers to make a move, at least to the 7850 level. But I don't think they're going to do so with strength. I think they're going to do so in a weak manner. Germany, on the other hand, has the power still to come up with strength once this has ended. I think there are news announcements on Tuesday, Wednesday. I think on Thursday and Friday as well. Definitely Tuesday and Wednesday. So what I'm thinking is on Monday, Monday could be for the sellers to finish off their move and then wait for the news announcement on Tuesday before the buyers make their move upwards. And they're likely to do so with strength on Germany. But make no mistake about it. After they come up with strength, when they reach round about here, it'll be a very interesting level to review, because when the buyers do fade out, the sellers are very likely to come in with strength, the strongest on this market, because by then, or I might do 3 hours, not 4 hours, by then this market will be in a rush to get to where other markets are. And considering other markets have gone past this level and this level and are aiming to reach this level, when this does drop, it's going to do so with strength, but it's not going to drop just yet, I don't think. I think the buyers are still in control and they're going to make one more attempt and then they'll drop. That's my thinking for the week. Let's go to the hourly. Now, see, for a buy on the hourly, FTSE looks really good because the levels are quite clear. Once prices settle, let's assume they settle around here. So we have this push down. Let's say this level is also a basin level. What we'll essentially want to see is prices to come down, make a V around here, and then go up to challenge this guy, potentially go down, use this as another level to bounce off of before making its way all the way up to the 7850 level. And then we can think of the sellers coming down, which they definitely will, but we can address that when we come to it. Germany, on the other hand, let's say, so we have this, let's say again they use this level as a basin off. And we have something like this, right? Germany also looks good because the levels are again quite clear. We want this to base out, so let it fizzle out, and then we can say, okay, the buyers are here, the sellers are have faded out. The last strong sellers are this guy. So when the buyers come up, it'll be this guy versus this guy, and it's quite clear, the levels, right? Wall Street, on the other hand, so the levels are clear on this market. The issue is, I'm not quite sure who's in control because of all the messiness of this coming in from the daily. It's very, very messy. It's hard to say where the sellers started and the buyers finished off. Because looking at this from a higher time frame point of view, we have this move up and then this move up. let's see the sellers. This move down and this move down. And buyers made one more attempt with this S&R being there. Weren't able to break it. The sellers came down even more. Yeah, Wall Street is one that I'm not so keen on. I think I'll stay away from Wall Street this week, just because I want to see what happens. Because yes, this level is quite clear. We have this push down, and we want to see a basing out before this level is challenged. That's all good. The issue is I'm not quite sure who's in control. And here, where prices are now, yes, buyers are there. We know from the daily, if we scroll back, we can see that the buyers are there, right? But I'm not so sure how strong they are. And given that there's still the sellers are relatively quite close to this level, it wouldn't surprise me if we get another big push down. Also, in the US, there are news announcement with the bank run, or what seems to be a bank run, SVB, Silicon Valley Bank. So that has also influenced the markets here, especially on Wall Street. So these levels here are great, right? But I want to see the move end before I can start plotting out where things are, where the extremes are, and who's likely to react at those extremes. Who's in control? I can't tell very clearly on Wall Street. Other two markets are clearer to me, with FTSE being the best one for as far as who's in control of things. So it's quite clear that we're looking at this move. And Germany, it's clear to me that this guy is not done yet. He reacted here and is very likely once again to react between here and here. And he's still more powerful than this guy so far. Now, when prices open on Monday, tomorrow, this can come crashing all the way down. I doubt it, but in theory it can do. And if that is the case, then everything I've reviewed so far will need to be reanalyzed with new perspective, with new data, considering new data. But so far, yes, this guy is still intact, and this guy really is this guy. Same guy. He just reacted in a higher price, at a higher price point. This guy has come down, broke this level. And the next strong, and with these guys, these buyers having been broken, the next strong buyers are down here. Which is why this one is clear, that it's this guy versus this guy. And so far the sellers are stronger. With this lopsided move down, we're definitely going to have a move, a retracement, and then another move down. At least we're gonna see these two. So this is clear to me. Germany is clear to me. Wall Street is not. Wall Street is very. Let's go to the higher time. Let's do monthly, just very quickly to have a. Yeah, you see, even this is still messy. It's so messy because we have all of this. Look at all this. All of this move is just so close together, makes it hard to read. On a higher time frame, because they're so close together, you need to go down and see the details. So in this case, the higher time frame is not as clear as it should be. What I can see, let's do this. What I can see is that these guys came up with strength. Retracement, they made another attempt. And then sellers pushed it down even more. So where buyers likely to react? This is why I say although they can react from where they are now because of the buyers are here, on this time frame, it's not even noticeable that buyers are here. Which means what's the next level? Where they are? Here? Perhaps? But even still, it's not noticeable. The last area where buyers are, and it's noticeable that buyers are there, is down here. And if prices are coming down to this level, are they coming down because sellers are in control or buyers are taking their profit? People are no longer buying. Are we going to see something like that before people buy once again? Or is this going to come crashing all the way down before people buy again? It's a very interesting market. It's hard for me to read. See here, these guys aren't even noticeable on the weekly. On the daily they are, but not on the weekly. So who is in control of this move down? It doesn't seem to be the daily guys. It seems to be the weekly. Which would once again make sense why this is coming all the way down quickly. And it's hard to read on the daily who is in control. Let me give this another shot. So buyers pushed upwards, right? And also here they pushed upwards. The first area that sellers came down was here. Came down with strength. Back to where buyers are. Buyers pushed upwards again, but weren't able to make or reach the previous high. So we have a higher low. Sellers came down, same level. Buyers pushed upwards again, and again they weren't able to beat this low, this high, sorry, which remember is a lower high. And then sellers broke this level. Did they break it? 1 second. 32,500. And buyers make a move, and then sellers came down. Actually, I am actually looking at this as, I'm looking at this in one or two ways. Either they broke the low, previous low, which is this, or they only just broke the previous low, which is this, meaning this level, the low is a range, right? It's an area, because remember they started from the 32,500 level, right? A little bit of range here, right? So they fought and then were able to push up. The push up was around about here, right? They pushed up, and then same area they pushed up, but the range where they fought came all the way down to the 32,500 level, meaning sellers came down, and because buyers are here in this range, they made another attempt, and then they broke this level. So higher low, high, lower high rather, lower low, lower high. Now let's look at the strength. Remember, we're dealing with this range. The thing with ranges that are this big is it's difficult to see where the strength is, because you can say the strength is at the higher end of this range with this guy, but he wasn't done yet. I say done because when the sellers came down, he was still in control. He came all the way down to the low end of the range and then made an attempt, but wasn't even able to reach the previous high, which remember was a lower high anyway, because this was the high, and then we had a lower and lower, and now even lower. So we're in a downtrend on this, and the question, and this market is leading that move because they're first, and they want to at least get up to this level, if not lower. But the way they broke this level, I want to see another test of the buyers, because let's say they come all the way down here and then they start to make their move upwards. Are they able to break this level? Number one. Number two, if they're able to break this level, Are they able to take it to the guy who started this downwards move? What I'm thinking, okay, so this is clearer to me now. I'm looking at, let me expand this a bit. I'm looking at a range. Oops, let's get back. Right, between there and there. And the guy who broke this range of where the buyers are, or where the buyers were, because sellers are now in control. It's clear to me now. These guys are the ones fully in control right now. And they've broken the last buyers who had strength, and they had strength in a range, whether we're looking at this level or all the way down to the lower end of the range, which is where they were back there, right? So they've lost this fight, and sellers are in control. But the way sellers have come down, doesn't give me with much I question their strength. So they've come down strong and haven't finished. I'll caveat that they haven't finished their move down. But the way they've come down makes me question how strong they are. They're stronger. They've come down stronger than this move, which is stronger than this move. So there is that. However, the way they broke this area wasn't the most convincing I've seen. They really should have just done it with this guy who came down. So did they break the buyers, or did the buyers give up? The difference is, if the buyers gave up, it means from a bigger time frame point of view, they are the ones still in control and are aiming to get a better price, potentially here, before they go up. And if that is the case, they're likely to go up with more conviction than the sellers, because the sellers, although in control right now, are not the ones who have who are leading the dance, should I say. The buyers are still in control, which means when the sellers make their move, wherever they end, let's say here, it's not going to be difficult for the buyers to take out the sellers. Specifically this guy, because he's not as strong as he appears to be. So if we jump, he's not as strong as he appears to be. It's that guy. Let's have a look at the volume. Interesting. Look at that. compared with that. I think I need to see more data on this, but what I'm thinking is these sellers are not as strong as they seem to be. They have control right now, but when they finish their move, wherever that is, it's still going to be a buyer's market from a higher time frame point of view, because the higher time frame guys are the ones in control of this. So still going to be a buyer's market. Yeah, I think I'll end it there. Otherwise, the more I look at it, I think I'll get more and more confused. There's a lot of data to crunch. Bottom line with this is I want to see more happen, more data reveal itself on Wall Street. Both FTSE and Germany looks really, really good, but aren't quite ready for the sell. Germany looks brilliant actually for a rollover, but it's not quite there yet. But in terms of tracking it, it's the clearest. And FTSE has already dropped. It kind of just ran away, right? So it just dropped. And because it just dropped, it's clear to see where the levels are on here. And we're also very close to where buyers are. Not very close. We are where buyers are. So it's easy to track them. Whereas Wall Street is messy. Very messy. But in terms of leading where markets are likely to be, Wall Street is looking really good for the coming weeks, let's say, because in the coming weeks you'll be able to see use Wall Street as the guide for other markets. Yeah, I'll leave this there for now. I'll keep on tracking this during the week. If I have the time, I'll make another video. But yes, it's very exciting times in the markets in the next coming weeks. It's leading up to April. This is perfect, isn't it? Financial year. It's very, very exciting times. All right, I'll leave it there for now. Bye for now.